How fluent do you need to be to live comfortably in Spain? Let's talk about it. For those that don't know, I have been living in Spain for over 6 years. And when I initially arrived, all bright-eyed, full of zest, and ready to eat all of the paella, I didn't have a single sentence in Spanish. I say sentence and not word because I did know cerveza, por favor, hola, the usual tourist vocabulary, but a lot has changed since those very humble beginnings. For a start, I can no longer eat all of the paella because I've developed an allergy to prawns. How random, I know. Also, the beautiful irony of moving to Valencia and picking up an allergy to the dish they are most famous for is hilarious. Anyway, I digress. When I arrived, it was very difficult to do anything. Going to the shops was exhausting, having to translate everything and anything I saw when I was simply doing a basic shop. The good thing about this experience is that by seeing the products in front of you, you don't always need to translate. For example, let's do a little test. If you saw yogurt written, that's Y-O-G-U-R, you wouldn't need to look it up, right? You would know that that is obviously yogurt. But that's the beauty of being in a supermarket. You also get to see the products. So if you have a bunch of apples in front of you and a big sign that says manzanas, you wouldn't be crazy to put 2 and 2 together and realize apple means manzana. Okay, so let's say 6 months has passed since you moved to Spain. You've been making regular trips to the supermarket to survive, I suppose. The question is, does this count as being fluent? I would say no, and I think most other people would agree. But let's look at this in another way. Just because I say you are not fluent, does it automatically make it true? Most definitely not. I think most people have an idea of what they consider fluency, or even a goal they have in mind as to how well they wish to speak Spanish. In my case, for example, I never formally studied Spanish. I can converse, I can understand, but I most definitely wouldn't say I'm fluent. That's not to say that people who have been here for 6 months aren't all fluent. Some people progress at different rates. I've always been terrible at languages and actually a really slow learner. So my advice would be, take your time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. As they say, and really the whole point of learning a language is to communicate, which I do pretty well. You'll also notice actually, just like in your native language, that there will be certain topics you will simply struggle with. Take a simple task like going to the doctors, for example. Initially, this was a difficult experience for me. I'd spend time translating the keywords and phrases I may need to express to the doctor or nurse of the problem that I have. So to give you an example, I know that muñeca means wrist, and I also know that uña is toe, simply because I have had issues with these body parts in the past. And actually one of them I'm dealing with right now. So I have a bad wrist and I'm having a scan on it real soon in the next few days. So that's exciting. Behind the scenes for you. When I went to the doctors to have my wrist seen to, the woman asked my name, my reason for my visit, whether I had ID, and all these questions are fine to me, right? Like I know them off by heart, so I can speak, fine, no problem. I'm able to respond and give the impression that I'm competent in Spanish. But then she continues to explain the directions I need to take to get to the waiting room. Now let me explain. There's multiple waiting rooms depending on where you're being seen. So when you come in, you've got like a front desk, and then you have to go either straight or left, and I wasn't sure, and then you have to take a lift. Sometimes you go down, sometimes you go up, but you need to listen and pay attention, okay? Just for some context. So what I heard was to go down the hall, turn left, and then I lost track of what she was saying. And at the time, I thought that I had got the instructions correct, so I responded with, vale, gracias, and I went on my way. I sat down in the waiting room in what I thought was the correct waiting room. And then I get a call from an unknown number on my phone. I'm just... Pizza turned up, give me a sec. So where was I? So I have a call from an unknown number. I pick it up and it's the doctor. And she's asking me, where are you? And I'm thinking, I'm sitting in the waiting room. She tells me, no, you're not in the waiting room. I'm standing in the waiting room right now. It turned out the receptionist had pointed in the correct direction, but I had misheard and not taken the lift going down. Needless to say, I was very apologetic when I arrived. But as you can imagine, this simple issue caused timing issues for the doctor. Adjusting is hard, and even to this day, I run into issues all the time. So that being said, back to the question at hand. There are different types of fluency, and they are all judged by the individual, not some arbitrary scale. I want to talk about these different types, which are conversational fluency, professional fluency, and even fluency in specific domains. For example, medical terms. Exposure to language in these types will allow you to improve over time. I would say I am conversational, but not professional. And as with everyone, there's certain topics that I'm better at than others. And I would say I'm still an active Spanish learner to this day. It's a journey and it has a lot of ups and downs. But the best thing you can do is learn to laugh at yourself, because you're going to make tons of mistakes. And that's okay. We're all human and that's what we do. So, what do I recommend to learn? I am a fan of Duolingo as a starting point. I think you can pick up some good vocabulary from there. But Duolingo has never really had grammar in mind. My mum, for example, does Duolingo every day. She loves it, but she feels frustrated when she doesn't understand the questions she is being asked, because the app never explains the grammar to her. To that, I have two solutions. And once you've spent some time on Duolingo, you should also look at doing the grammar sessions on Spanish Dictionary. You can do the grammar sessions on the computer and also on your mobile. I'd also recommend getting a grammar book like this one. I've had this for the longest time and I've almost finished it. I've got like a few pages left. On page 12, I finished a session on the 13th of July 2018. So there you go. Get something like that. This life hack is a life changer, but what I recommend you do is to chronologically go through the book. No, that's not the life hack. Yes, I know it's mind-numbingly boring if you've already covered the content on the initial pages, but trust me, it ensures you've covered everything. Just power through. Use the answers in the back to mark your work, and if you need to, for further explanation, examples, and someone to ask follow-up questions to, use ChatGPT. It's genius. That's the life hack, by the way. Use ChatGPT. It's amazing. It's like having your own personal tutor who can help you at any moment. And you can ask very specific questions. You can also use it to kind of go back and forth. So for example, there's a topic I don't understand. It can explain that topic to me. But then once it's explained the topic to me, I will then say, can you give me some examples? It gives me examples. Then I'll ask it to test my knowledge on it. So it will give me examples and say, hey, fill in the gaps, for example. It's perfect. It's amazing. Honestly, I don't know if anyone else is using this. If you are, let me know in the comments. Okay, so up to now, you've got a strong foundation, but really you need to start talking. And if you're living in the country, you'll probably be forced to for basic things. Believe it or not, again, the more exposure you can get to others, the faster you will learn. This is where I recommend going to language exchanges. These are not only judgment-free zones to use your language, make mistakes, and help others learn too, but it's also a really good place to get to know people. So if you're like me and you didn't know anyone when you first arrived, it's a really good way to socialize. This is your way to make a group of friends. Trust me, I've done it in Madrid, I've done it in Malaga, and I'm now doing it again here in Valencia. By speaking to others, not only will you find your ability to speak with people speeding up, but your listening comprehension will improve. In the meantime, also use TV and video games to immerse yourself in Spanish. These should give you the initial steps that I used to adjust myself to living in Spain. And remember, fluency is subjective. It depends on your goals and needs. Moving to Spain, or any country for that matter, is a journey, and learning the language is part of the experience. Being able to navigate daily life is already an achievement. Like really, we don't give ourselves enough credit just for existing. So I'm here to tell you, you're awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. And yes, you should make that jump to move abroad. You won't regret it. Thanks for watching this week's video. Let me know where you are with your language learning journey. Don't forget to like this video. It does help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. And now it's time for me to go eat pizza. Amazing.